Hello, Eurofans. Welcome back to that Eurovision site. Eurovision with what? A slice of life, of course. I'm Kittens, and I'm going to be taking you through with the lovely Jade. Say hi, Jade.
Hi.
And the lovely Samantha. Say hi, Samantha.
Hi.
And they're going to be talking about Eesti Laul 2026. So, Eesti Laul 2026 ended last weekend as we are recording this, so the 14th of February. We had 12 participants down to three in a super final and then one eventual winner. We're not going to spoil the winner yet, but we're going to talk about that in a bit. So before we start talking about the songs, I'm going to come to Samantha first, just to pick on you.
Okay.
What did you think of? Did you listen to the songs in the run up? Did you have favorites of the songs in the run up, or were you just leaving it all for the night?
Mm. I definitely listened to all the songs because Ewan forced me into the ranking, so thank you, Ewan. But I did have some favorites, but I was kind of just on the fence about some of them, and I was like, the performance will decide for me whether that song is like going to be on repeat. But my favorite was without a doubt Nub because I've listened to him for a fair few years now, and I just really wanted to see him at the show with a great song, and I felt like Days Like This was exactly what I wanted from him. So yeah, Nope was definitely my favourite, and I was maybe on the performance side a bit. I wouldn't say let down by him, but surprised. It's I don't know. I felt like usually visually he's much more expressive than what we saw. So I was maybe a bit, yeah, not let down, but just surprised. But he was without a doubt my favorite. Yeah.
Lovely. And Jade, you had a very different experience of Easter because you went to Estonia.
The -23 was an adventure, let's just say that.
So tell us a bit about your adventure. Did you listen to the songs beforehand? Did you know what you were getting into? What was your expectations going into this?
So anyone who knows me, Victor Crone, Stig Rasta, two of my favourite artists. So I of course listened to Stockholm Cowboys because I was excited to see compared to their other projects, songs that have come into that project, what they were going to go with Eesti Laul. I really liked it. Like it's a song that I feel like would go really well with TikTok edits, especially sporting ones. I'm just going to say. So I went into that, but very blind on how they were going to perform it because I thought, are they going to go very like Stephen Hope with a very cowboy esque shooting range sort of vibes? But I was very, very surprised when I saw it in rehearsals and keeping that shock secret for those hours waiting up to the live show was amazing to see all those reactions to come out to that full performance.
Because I feel like it's fair to say from the reactions on my timeline, that Stockholm Cowboys was quite a special performance. Do we want to have a quick describe for anybody who hasn't seen it what happened in the Stockholm Cowboys
Can
performance?
I give three words?
Go
Vicar.
on.
So three terms I would use: vicar, alien versus predator, fire guitar. That's all you need. That's all
That
you need.
so Jade messaged me the day before Easter Lol and just said, I'm not telling you anything about Stockholm Cowboys, but you are going to need a stiff drink. And I have not watched the performance in full yet. And I am going to say on video now that Jade owes me a stiff drink and we're going to watch it over a stiff drink properly. So, was there any other song that caught your ear, either of you, for any other reason? In this, like, it could be a song that really disappointed you, a song that really excited you on the night that you weren't expecting.
I would say Jolly Roger. Like, I love the studio version. I just felt like maybe because it was first, and I know Vilmanus went first, and they blew it apart, and their staging was to six them on stage. They did not go extreme, but for some reason, Jolly Roger, maybe the crowd, it just felt not as big and as much as we thought with Tommy Cash as well, that they were going to go as big as them.
Mm.
It just sort of fell flat. But then I don't know if it would have stood out more without Stockholm Cowboys going so extreme. So I don't know if the more eccentric performances fell flat because of Stockholm Cowboys.
Mm.
As you can see by the press poll, where it felt like everyone went for Stockholm Cowboys because it was the last performance and it was so out there that I think it was a performance that stuck in everyone's head, hence also the jury points as well.
Anything from you, Samantha? Or were you distinctly
Yeah.
whelmed?
No, I definitely agree with that about Stockholm Cowboys. Like, it was the last one, and it was a something that pleased to obviously some people. So that, yeah, I definitely agree with that one. And I agree that Jolly Roger just fell flat. I think it was not as big as not as big as I was expecting either. But a song that I was maybe surprised about, that kind of like, ooh, this is kind of good, was maybe Marta Pikani with Kid Kus. I was, when I first listened to it, I was a bit like, okay, this is a bit bland, maybe. But I saw it on stage, and I think you could just see how much she loved performing that song. And it really, like, she was just like, I'm having the time of my life. I don't care if I win. I don't care if I don't get where this comes. She just enjoyed it, and that spoke to me, I think. So I think I was a bit surprised by that song, but in a good way.
Mm.
Mm.
Right. So we've cleverly avoided talking about the winner. That was definitely on purpose, right, guys? Um, so Vanilla Ninja won. So we went down to a super final. Three artists were in the super final. Vanilla Ninja, Ollie, and I'm gonna say this wrong. Nope. Somebody correct me. I'm not the Estonia fan here. Um, and the eventual winner by reasonably small margins. Just a few thousand votes in it. Were Vanilla Ninja. Now, Vanilla Ninja, we know before as Eurofans. This is not our first time meeting them, and they're a known entity in Estonia very much, right? So, what do you guys think of the song? What do you think it, how do you think it might do in, some other big competition that's coming up in May?
Personally, I think it's a non-qualifier. I think the problem with having like bands like Vanilla Ninja that are known to Eurofans or even not Eurofans is you kind of vote for them in the national selection because they're nostalgic to you. They remind you of, I don't know. You remember one song of theirs and you're like, yeah, okay, this will do well. But Too Epic to Be True, it just feels so bland and so, I don't know. It's not the song for me. I don't think it's a terrible song, but it's really bland. And yeah, just not. I can't see it qualifying.
I
Jade?
would agree with I would agree with Samantha. I think we are so used for the last 2 years for Estonia to send such big songs with Vilmanus and Tommy Cash that this year it feels like a little bit of a step back because they're quite usually the quite eccentric Baltic brother who sends the most random stuff. It just feels like a bit of a step back for them. They could qualify if people are into that girl band nostalgia, that Spice Girls sort of vibe that they have. So it could be one of those that could be on the boundary, especially with juries being back. I feel like that is going to play a part in who could qualify from that semi final.
Mm. I mean, so if you want my full opinions, you can go and watch our reaction video. Plug, plug, plug. So I watched this the day after the show, and I feel like I'm like Samantha. Like it's perfectly pleasant to listen to. You wouldn't turn it off, but would you pick up the phone and vote for it? I don't know that. Of course, there's going to be some people who are going to love this, but like, I don't know that it has the voting gonna grab people enough to vote. And that's the big thing when it comes to voting, that you've got to stick in people's memory. You've got to do something different, or do something magnificent. And I was concerned that it wouldn't have that. But is it a bad song? No, it's not a bad song. It's just not a great song, maybe.
I would be interested to see what staging they're going to take to Eurovision, because if it's like the Loreen situation with the platform, um, are they going to be able to do that? And they also looked very uncomfortable. So it was free standing, it was free hanging off the ceiling, and they weren't strapped in. So you could see the movement in the arena. So it does depend if how much staging is going to be changed, if they're going to do something that is going to grab the attention of the audience. Currently, with the Eesti Laul staging, I don't think it will, because there's no surprise. They are then on the floor, then on a platform, but there's nothing that is going to grab that televote if you're going to watch it for the first time for 3 minutes at the moment.
And we have also like such big songs, like in their semi-final and in the second semi-final, first semi-final, I can't remember now, but we have such big songs. I'm thinking of Greece and Denmark that are like fan favourites, can I say? And this will probably fall behind all that, I think.
Yeah.
Just with how it is.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting to see how this comes. And if anybody is watching this back like the week before the contest, we are obviously talking the week after Eesti Laul here. We do not know fully the rest of what we are getting this year, so we cannot talk fully about our reckoning. But yeah, I think we might be talking a borderline qual here, depending on what else is in that semi, which we don't fully know yet. Right. So, with that in mind, let's think to Eesti Laul 2027. What would we, and I'm going to come to Jade first, so put this in your memory. Jade, what would you like to hope for Eesti Laul 2027? And don't just say more Victor Kroner.
For me, it would be promoting the Estonian language. You can see on the jury points, the Estonian language really struggled this year. Generally, if we look at the history of Estonia and them sending languages, English is their majority. We were lucky with Vilnius to get that the song. So for me, it would be concentrate on finding a modern Estonian song, language song. So you've got Carl Killing, who makes amazing tracks. Push him back through it, and something that is modern and hip, that sounds like it could be on the radio. I think that is the other thing. What could sound like you could find on the British radio? Okay, it might be in the Estonian language, but something that sounds more now.
Anything hopes for the show itself rather than just a selection?
Maybe changing the jury to super final, because if we look how close this year was for Vanilla Ninja not to get through, and also the fact that by the time you get to the super final, it is just a public vote. So the entire previous element has been lost. So I think I read a tweet that said if Ollie had been 2 points less, it would have changed the entire sort of voting. So that would be a real interest to see how they could change the voting. And also, if they lowered the cost of the voting in Estonia, would that change the amount of percentages we would see voting? Because it is one of the most expensive countries to vote for their national final. And also with the now introduction of international voting, if you've got a maximum of 20 votes and that is €28, are you willing to vote? Is it different if it was 50 cents, where it would have then just be €10? Would people be more attractive to vote than €28?
Any thoughts, Samantha?
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely. It's really expensive to vote, and I just think that people will lose. They're just like, yeah, no, I can't be bothered with that. And I agree, we should be promoting the Estonian language more. because Vis Minúsculas did it so well with Pulup, and it was, I'm not going to say avant-garde, but it was new, I think, for Estonia, at least, to go for something like that. But one act that I really want to see is Nublu. I really want to see him for Estonia. Because I know he did it for Finland, which I didn't quite understand. But I want to see him for Estonia. Because I think he's going to be so great. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think looking at the votes, the margins in between them all, I mean, I am a fully paid up member of Super Finals, a bad land. I despise a super final. But here we are. We've got what we've got. But I do think when voting is like small margins and stuff, we're talking like essentially this was a three-way split almost. There is percentage points in it, like it's like 3% between the winner and the second place. It's not. This is not a definitive answer. This is almost luck, and I would like to see. I would like to see super finals to disappear from everything. But I just oof. Part of me just looks at that voting and just does a massive oof.
Coming from going for the last 2 years and talking to, people behind the scenes, they've loved this year because it was such an open show. It's not like last year when it was Tommy Cash, how much is he going to win by? Like,
Yeah.
what percentage is he going to win by? The same with the year before. We all went into that final knowing who is likely to go and represent them. Having this year where it was a lot closer was amazing for us because we could sit there and did not know who was going to go through from the jury and the public vote. We were sitting at that super final and just going, we can't, like, we could not pick who the three we thought were going to go to the super final. It has been an amazing contest. I cannot fault that. But as you say, it was such close margins. I think between second and third was 13 or 18 points, some ridiculously small margin. But is that what we want? Do we want those small margins or do we want a runaway winner? It depends on how you look at it, really.
Yeah, I think it's does a small margin basically mean that people aren't really there isn't a pattern of being passionate, or people are just voting willy-nilly. And it's hard to tell you can't tell patterns based off one vote. If this kind of thing happens again, though, part of me thinks, is this that people just don't like any of them that much? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we would have to see. But you know me, I'm always going to say down with semi-finals, bin super finals. I mean, bin super finals. I hate them, but that's just me. Right. Any more to say? Any last moments? Anything to wrap up on that I've missed, you guys?
The only thing that I guess we don't understand from the voting as well is the split between the Estonian vote and the international vote this year. And we don't, as Melfest, what we do, have the age bracket, so we don't even know, who voted for what. So if we had more information, we could see where these voting patterns are. But with Estonia, what you get is what you see, really. So we can't really work out what is causing this issue. But a massive issue that we can see is that price, because there was a tweet that showed the prices of the votes versus the amount of votes we're getting. And as that price is so creeped up, the amount of votes has decreased.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a problem. You comparing it to Mellow, where voting is essentially free unless you wish to call in. You know, could Israel go completely the other way? Free voting for everybody and then get people more engaged in voting. You know, big shrug. I mean, I know that people have to make money for their shows. Especially smaller countries need to make money to run their shows, but you know, it's something to consider maybe. Any last words, Samantha?
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see the age brackets because I was convinced when I saw the Click and Max were entering the contest, I was like, okay, we're gonna get a younger audience, definitely. Even like NERP entering, I thought we're gonna get a younger audience and they're gonna jump on them artists. And it obviously, well, maybe for NERP it worked, but for Click and Max, it just I with that one, I don't know what happened there. I can only think it was the first on. The staging wasn't that great. Well, wasn't that great. It was a bit flat, and yeah. But it would be interesting to see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, as you say, because there's so many young artists, did they split the young vote, which made Vanilla Ninja jump above them? Is that another issue that we had? Is if you have too many young artists or radio-friendly artists who are going to get those young votes, did that cause that split that did not help one of those artists like Ollie jump ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to see Ollie not enter next year. That might be a hot take, but seeing his heart broken every time in the super final, I can't do it anymore. It's been 3 times now. It's too much.
I mean, we'll gloss over my opinions on all these music, shall we?
I know, but it's not.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Not.
And if you see the way he is with his friends in the green room for the news break, he's such a sweetheart, and it's a bit like Aiden and Malta. You want to see them go because they are the most sweetest, nicest people in the world.
Unfortunately, until the sweetest, nicest person in the world brings the most banger song that Estonia have ever heard, the sweetest, nicest person might not be able to go, unfortunately. So, I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much to Jade. Thank you very much for Samantha for joining me. We have been That Eurovision Site. Check us out on all of our socials at That Eurosite and on our website, that eurovisionsite.com. Have I got that right? See, I'm
Yeah.
looking to Samantha because she's social media. That eurovisionsite.com for all your news and interviews and features, etc., etc. And we will be back with more of this, talking about more national finals. We'll have reactions, we have interviews up on our channel. Give us a like and subscribe if you like what we do. Follow us on everything. We're TikTok, Instagram, carrier pigeon. We'll try anything. But thank you very much, Jade. Thank you very much to Samantha, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.